be talking actually honestly about all the issues we've said, you know, this is happening, that's happening. We'll go more into the solution mode. And so this is called the Adda. I think, I'll be needing 6 or 7 chairs. So I'm wondering, how should we do it? Yeah, I think we can do it here, right? We can just have, because we won't have space for so many. 3, हाँ, एक बार यहाँ एक 4 लगा के यहाँ 5 6, yeah. Or no, actually this is also right. सब आ जाएंगे? हाँ. And maybe I can stand. It'll be easier. है ना? We can. I.
Already 6 is there. Already 6.
Okay. 1, 2, 3,
I'm 6 already.
5, 6. Okay, great.
Sit on the edge.
I can sit on the edge, and it's all going to topple off. Okay. So can I please request? And I'm not making any introduction because everybody's spoken earlier. Sachin ji, please come. Debashish ji, please come. Azhar, please be here. I think Anirudh Gupta, is he here? Oh, okay. He is not here. Never mind. Yeah. So Anand Lakshman, please come. And Anirudh Sachdeva, please. So I think that gives me 1 chair to sit.
No, you have 1 chair always.
I already have a chair. ठीक है, आप बैठो. All right. So what we're going to do is, while all of them, make themselves comfortable, it's going to be an honestly speaking session. It's going to be an honestly speaking session. So we called it an adda because अड्डे पे जब बैठते हैं ना, कुछ भी बोलते हैं और जो भी बोलते हैं, क्योंकि दोस्त होते हैं ना, तो सब सच बोलते हैं. So it's all about सच बोलना है, ठीक है, दिल से बोलना है, एक्शन ओरिएंटेड होना है. एंड आई वाज जस्ट थिंकिंग कि इसके बाद में लंच है एंड इट्स द लास्ट, so थोड़ा ज़्यादा टाइम भी लग जाएगा, ठीक है, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, बिकॉज इट्स ऑल अबाउट रियली कमिंग अप विद एक्चुअली ग्राउंड लेवल पे हम क्या कर रहे हैं अपने स्कूल में. That's the most important, okay? Because something that I wanted to say, I didn't want to, infringe too much on Sandeep ji's time also, that we've been talking a lot about stigma and whatever. हम भी तो अपने स्कूल में यही करते हैं. स्टिग्मा दुनिया ने दिया है, तो हम क्या कर रहे हैं, हम कौन सा इंटीग्रेट कर रहे हैं, हम कौन सा उसको बहुत ज़्यादा वी आर गिविंग इट एन एलिवेटेड पोजिशन व्हेन इट कम्स टू स्किल एजुकेशन. सो लेट्स पुट आवर हैंड्स ऑन आवर हार्ट्स एंड स्पीक द ट्रूथ. सो फॉर ऑल ऑफ ऑल माई स्पीकर्स, यू आर गोइंग टू एक्चुअली बी लाइक गीता पे हाथ रख के कसम खाता हूँ, जो बोलूँगा सच बोलूँगा, सच के सिवाय कुछ नहीं बोलूँगा. Okay. And that's the truth for everyone. And what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to put some conditions, some questions about the honestly speaking. They'll, of course, give their viewpoint, and we'll throw it open simultaneously to the audience so that we discuss a point and where do we stand on it. So I'm going to start with you, Sachin. All right? So teachers, we've been talking about teacher training, things like that. How much I won't say you, because it's not just about you, but it's about the elite schools, okay? How much do elite schools, progressive, एक नाम दिया हमने, बड़ा अच्छा लगता है हमें ना? So progressive schools, elite schools, actually invest in their teachers, not only in terms of skill education. Do they understand that skill education is not to be stigmatized? Do they actually encourage their children to go in for skill education and talk to them about careers and skill education? कि वो भी बोलते हैं पढ़ाई नहीं करोगे तो कारपेंटर बनोगे, मैथ्स पढ़ो, क्यों जा रहे हो ये सब क्लासेस में? आखिर मार्क्स तो वहाँ से मिलेंगे, आपको आगे जाके आपको एडमिशन तो वहाँ से मिलेगा. What about our teachers? हम क्या कर रहे हैं?
जो भी बोलूँगा सच बोलूँगा.
This is
Gurukul. So it's कम बोलूँगा. हाँ. Anyways, so ma'am, what I feel, sometimes school plan their teacher training program with keeping the count in number. इतने hours, इतना करना है. And that is like it. I mean, somebody just, passes on this is responsibility to somebody, maybe tier 2, tier 3 in the hierarchy. Okay, do it and just column ticked. And that's like saying operation successful, patient dead. But the reality is, the clarity. I borrowed these words since morning today. The clarity, the relevance of that exercise to the context of every school, because the audience are different, the child in the question is different, the teacher's need are different. So that need analysis sometimes doesn't happen. So it just come vertically from somebody that, okay, let's call so and so as a trainer, let's call so and so as a trainer, and just do it. Yeah. हाँ, पैसा भी बच जाए. हाँ. If the management is deciding, okay, fine, this is the budget I have allocated, but I have to do it, so let's do it symbolically. Maybe newspaper in education, HT को पकड़ लेते हैं, Times of India को पकड़ लेते हैं, they'll be कर लेते हैं. So that is what it's happening. But now, if a little intelligent thinking is done, there are so many tools available. Technology is coming to an aid, and there are so much possibilities. But yes, there is no escape from not training the teacher to ensure those outcomes are achieved.
And more than that, I'm actually talking about teacher's mindset.
Absolutely, yes.
टीचर के माइंडसेट पे हमने कितना काम किया है.
How many of your labs spent money the way Amrita Burman has spent?
We'll come to that. उस पे भी हम आएंगे. उस पे भी
मैं-
आएंगे. उस पे भी आएंगे.
इसी
sir.
में I would like to add one more thing. You know what? Term is over, year is over. What happens? The teacher is asked, "Acha, what was your result?" So the result analysis is done in such a way where only marks are projected. So the teacher has this thing in the mind. Nobody is going to ask anything from around the ear. The only final outcome is going to be that paper.
कभी हमने ये पूछा कि कितने लोगों को encourage किया स्किल एजुकेशन में और अच्छा करने के लिए?
Probably not.
Yes,
Yes.
that's it.
No.
Let's come to the crux of it.
Yes.
And I'm not saying कि सचिन आप कर रहे हो कि हम लोग में से कोई नहीं कर
Yes.
रहा.
Yes.
So let's get back, because again, why I'm going to be asking these questions is, I think it is in our area of control. हम ये चीज कर सकते हैं, हम तब भी नहीं करते, तो क्या ये सारी बातें and whatever. So क्या
Absolutely.
mindset पे काम किया कि नहीं किया तो क्या करोगे जाके वापस?
मुझे लगता है कि what we should do is that let's appreciate that uniqueness in that teacher. If that teacher is too good in probably organizing events, let's give that importance to her and ensure that she goes back to her class and identifies students who can contribute this way, because every child has something or the other to do.
Right.
Maybe somebody who is too good in community service, for example.
Right.
So she has an automatic bent of mind towards that. So why don't we make them,
So as you said yesterday, maybe intern on that.
Intern,
So
yes,
that
correct.
Good point. Okay, and anyone else? I'll take one more, but it's going to be something on what have you not done and what you plan to do. And only on teachers, okay? Yeah.
Only when you're talking about teacher training.
Right.
Most of the time we talk about differentiated learning, we don't think of differentiated training. The point that,
Yeah.
you were talking about. So what we need to do is we need to do on the based on the need assessment. That's what we have been doing in the teacher training. Earlier it used to be like we have to do on hybrid learning or different, flip learning, all jargons what we taught to the
Sir.
teachers.
No. I will not take that as a point. Why you're talking about need analysis and planning of training on that? No, I'm only sticking to teachers when I don't know whether the word is absolutely correct. It's about mindset of teachers. So are you training your teachers mindset in a way? Yes. Okay.
So we are looking at training and training of mindset different. Every training should be for changing of behavior. Most of the time what we are doing in the country, in general, I'm talking about not just elite schools, everyone, is just training is for passing on content and little bit maybe on skill set, but nobody is looking at change of behavior. So training goes very well, but after the training is completed, it's as it was in the beginning.
Anyone would like to give an example कि मेरे यहाँ ना teacher का mindset towards vocation is brilliant.
Towards mindset we do it.
Do you do it? Would you like to add anything, Sandeep ji, coming from you? Yeah.
How many of us have sent our teachers to borrowing?
Okay.
Excellent.
Okay.
So what you've done, you've changed your mindset.
Right.
You change your mindset first. And जब आपने कहा ना कि जो genuine बात है कि टीचर का तो हम ultimately result academic देखना चाहते हैं, वो देखना चाहते हैं 10th 12th का, वो तो board decide करता है. What about the lower classes? And we also know that
that there will be a lot of change if the teacher is exploring a few things, in all the experiments I have done, my academic was never compromised. 30% of time was going for activities. I used to finish the courses before the other teachers, and the results were par excellence because the children love doing what we did to them. ये mindset पूरा करना पड़ेगा. Teacher को exposure दो. Result की चिंता मत करो. Teacher को ज़्यादा चिंता है result की.
I think that's a great point. I'm sorry, I'm just going to, because I think it's the exposure of the teacher. Till we don't expose them, it
First
won't
we need to
happen.
get exposed.
Okay, so I will take more points, but I have other issues also to discuss. Okay, now Debashish, coming to you. So we spoke even this morning about, in fact, Lakshmi has been speaking about this right from the beginning, the vocational subjects in middle school. Okay, we all know we have to do it. The fact is, because we have to do it, and I'm also a victim of this. And वही मैं भी करती हूँ अपने school में. Okay, are we really doing it because we feel that it's going to add some value to the child, to his mindset, to his respect towards vocational education? The 3 years, 6, 7, and 8, we have to do our skill subjects in vocational. How much of seriousness do we give to it, and or does it become what Neeta said in the morning, one more additional subject? And then, when I'm lagging behind in my maths course, that's probably the first thing to be arranged. Oh, this is nothing. What do you want to do design thinking for example? Do something. And I'm saying design thinking because you spoke about it, and it's a skill subject in 6, 7, and 8. Yes, sir.
Right. So I can actually put my hand on Geeta and speak the truth and still elide the question, because in my little school, we are still till grade 4 and we are yet to bring in middle school. But as Sandeep sir said, it is here that where the mindset can be changed. It is in the lowest of the classes. And so small things which we are trying to do is that, we are trying to bring in block printing. We are trying to work with papier mache. We are working with, gardening and small things. But that's not, I think, the question. The question is, are we really doing it because it's vocational, or is it it's a buffer? Systemically speaking, I think it's always a buffer, isn't it? I mean, look at your CBSE timetable. How much time do you give your maths and science exams? Or ICSE timetable. And in the उसके बीच में vocational subjects रख दिए जाते हैं, क्योंकि उसमें ज़्यादा time तो लगनी नहीं है. Structurally in our timetable, how much time do we give it? So if you look at our timetabling, if you look at the structures of any school, I don't think vocational is being given the due. But I think one thing which came through all the morning sessions, and even in the even when we were having the previous conversation, is that it has to be integrated into the system, into everything that we do. IB allows you that. IB in its PYP allows you that. It allows you to look at frameworks and then build in math, science, and everything into it. But the challenge which I face, and which I'm sure every school leader faces, is that are your teachers trained enough to look at what is teachable? Because the biggest challenge is not, because when we look at teachers, you're looking to teach a subject. It is subject expertise which overrides teaching concerns. But I think what our workshop should actually be towards is for the teachers to be able to understand what is the learning quotient of that particular thing. What is it that is teachable? If I see a carpenter in the shed, which an example which was given in the morning, is my teacher qualified enough to draw out the learning outcomes from there and translate it into a classroom teaching material?
Yeah.
That skill set is what we need to impart to our teachers. The mad teacher can be manufactured. I mean, if Chomsky can manufacture consent in Sandhanista, I'm sure any mad teacher can be manufactured. But the point is, are our teacher training programs allowing the space for mad teacher to be alive or to grow up? Because madness is cut down by results. And that is where I think
are we as school leaders ready to be able to support that madness?
And to be able to explain to the parents, who are the other stakeholders, that this madness is a required part of the curriculum.
Absolutely. Can we take one? Okay, yeah, please, ma'am.
So when I took my teachers to Mahabalipuram for a study trip, as a real live example of how to integrate. And I realized that teachers have the intent, but they don't have the skills. They have not had the training. They've finished their B.Ed and they've just come straight to the classroom. So they didn't know how to draw this historical experience to their subjects. Including a PE teacher who was part of this, he said, but isse kya main leke jaun classroom mein? And I'm not assigning blame on any of them, but they have not had that as an experience
Training.
at all. And how do they then draw? At least some of them it was obvious in terms of, history. But rest of the teachers actually stood there and actually began to wonder. And we were sitting in the middle of that sand, beautiful space, and had a facilitator who then said, can you get the language here? Can you get the math here? But I think we need that exposure. Otherwise, it's always about blaming the teachers too. And I think we need to be careful about that.
I like that point where you say we blame the teachers. So I'll take one from the audience where if you have an example, and Jovita, it could be you, if you have an example of what you've done with the middle school, because I'm really concerned about what's happening in the 6, 7 and 8. Is it a hogwash? Are we taking it seriously? So if anybody has some great idea to give on that, please give it. Jovita. Just mention it in 3 seconds and then just think about it. Okay, I take something from you all.
So I have a question here, and it's a follow-up to what you said. And it's a follow-up to our previous session as well. We keep talking about how to integrate stuff and how teachers can look at something like an experience like Mahabalipuram and integrate it across subjects. The fact is that we are products of a system which hasn't taught us to create those neural pathways.
Absolutely.
And please understand that not all of us are gifted with a Lakshmi or an Anand in our school systems. All our schools, individual schools, don't have what the previous panelist was talking about, that you need so many 300 resource persons to train the trainer. Talk of the devil. We simply don't have that. Where is the curriculum? Where is the teacher trainer to help us think sideways like this? I am drowning here.
Joyita, why, this is, I disagree. I disagree.
Sorry, 1 minute. What I meant
One
was
minute.
about
Lakshmi,
not
it's
assigning
not about
the blame.
you. It's not about you, na dear. It's about, she's saying that it's a systemic problem. The way we teach. Just a sec. Okay.
There's one more thing. I have a fear, and it may be totally unfounded because there's that new vistas.
Yeah.
I have a fear that in our the way we are going, the intention that we have to do this new thing, and we all understand with our intelligences that this is required. In our attempt to do this, if we don't see it through till its logical end, what will happen is that won't happen, and we will end up losing the deep expertise also.
No.
So bad
So
thing
I
is that
don't
good thing
see.
of that
It's
will
your
fall in the
perspective. Personally, I don't agree with it because I've experimented and don't think that anything that's happening in any of our schools in terms of teacher levels is any different. We all have the same level of teachers. All of them are, there's a mix of brilliance, there's a mix of average, who are the best actually, they listen the most to you. The brilliant ones question you, which is brilliant again, and then the others whom you push up, right? How are you integrating to get the best trainers in? Do you believe in this change? I think is the most important thing. We'll leave it here. But I'm going to take something from someone, whoever. And Subirji, I'll tell you what's context. It's about 6, 7 and 8 vocational training subjects, which personally, I was asking them that I don't think it's going the right way. It's in isolation. So Debashish spoke very nicely about a few things that he believes in. And I just wanted to take some example. Something that we're doing really brilliantly to make this integrated and more importantly, giving the due importance to these vocational subjects in 6, 7 and 8. Okay, so.
Modern school. Lata Vedyanathan.
Yeah.
Have a look at those 15 centers outside there. 6th, 7th and 8th. Earlier not vocational, earlier it was SC2W work, every week, 6A, 6B, 6C, 6D, 6C, they go there on rotation basis to attend those 15 huts. And those hutsmen who are there, who are hardcore craftsmen, are not given any other work than doing that work. So their workload is आधा दिन आपको बच्चों के साथ में टाइम करना है, आधा दिन आपको डेवलप करना है, उसके बाद में स्कूल के लिए आपको चीजें बनानी है. So they've spent so much money on that. And coming back to Lata Vedanath, Krishna ma'am here, or whether it was early Kauri ma'am in SMS School Jaipur, they had the same thing. They had those huts.
So why I'm really happy with this example. If we could get examples like this, at least we could think of going for some tours or something, talk to Vijay Datta, let's go to Modern School Barakama. Can we just get names? Because I need to go on to other things. Any place that you would think that we could visit, and any example.
I have an example for 6, 7, 8.
Right.
A case study that we did in my previous employment. We tied up with NGOs of the city, and every grade level, class 6 was constituted into, actually registered as a particular society. And the NGO partnered with 6th grade for garbage, with 7th grade for water, for 8th grade for something else. And what happened was that every year when class 6 went to class 7, I'm actually saying the wrong thing. 6, 7 was one company, 8, 9 was one company, and that's how it was done. So that every time when 7 passed out and 6 came to 7, a new grade would come in and they would join that company.
Okay.
Now, as a result of this, they actually learned skill education in a lived sense.
Okay,
That's
great. So we'll leave it here. You would like to add anything,
Which school was
Subirji?
that?
In the government sector, this organization called Lend a Hand
Lend a hand.
is doing
If
quite
you-
a lot
just
of
give him the
work.
mic, please. Yeah.
Lend a Hand is working with a very large number of schools, like schools would be in hundreds, if
Right.
not thousands. And they've also integrated with the curriculum quite a bit.
Okay.
So that's something worth looking at.
Okay, great. I just wanted, examples. You can take down your notes to what is the action you can take. Next point, okay, coming to Azhar. So, Azhar, we've been talking about AI and whatever. My fear again is that AI is going to it's becoming in any case all pervasive, and we talk about integration of AI. What is going to be the role of AI truly in coming times in vocational, the kind of jobs it's going to take over, and AI is going to play a huge role. Are we understanding that as educators? And are we truly making our children ready with AI in our classrooms today to be able to be more effective in the job realm in future? Or are we scared as teachers, as leaders of AI, and keeping it a little on the fringe because we ourselves actually either don't know what's coming in AI and don't know AI and the usage of it ourselves? I hope I'm clear on what I'm saying. Yes.
Telling the truth that we are still in very nascent stage, very we are in a nursery stage in terms of understanding the AI itself, getting into implementation, the fear of jobs, everything is still there. So we haven't reached that, and we're still exploring.
Okay.
I'm talking about elite schools.
That's the truth. I'm
Yeah.
glad you came up. That's the way.
Yeah.
Solutions. Anybody who feels, look, I've tried it and I've bought it and it's working. Can we look for solutions? And Subirji has raised his hand, but I'll just see if I can get it from the other audience, and then of course I'll come to Subirji. Subirji, can we get something from you?
Solution, just an implication.
Okay.
The most important AI skill that everybody needs. The most important AI skill is to know what you want, to be able to articulate it, to be able to articulate it in clarity, in steps, which means you have to conceptualize in your mind. I keep going back to the mental skills that are required to be able to deal with AI. So we are not doing enough of that. Our children are not taught to think for themselves. They are basically told what to do. So on earth are they going to tell AI what to do? We are in nursery stage at that point also.
Right. Yeah, please. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I attended a workshop which happened in IIT Gandhinagar, and Dr. Arunam, he also mentioned the same, because he works on AI a lot. So he said what prompts you give is important if we are using AI. So So, that's where it is.
So even for that prompt engineering, if I'm
Prompt
using the right
engineering.
word,
So
there's so
even-
much of training. So,
Yeah.
but I'm just leaving you again with a thought. Our kids can't ask a question in class because the teacher doesn't like questioning. And then we talk of prompt engineering.
So the other thing is that was our teacher trained to think? We are teaching thinking skills.
But that process has to happen.
Exactly. And which is why I have got one example. The previous employment at GEMS, we had a teacher's child. We have an innovation incubator in GEMS, and they used to work very well. A teacher's child in grade 11. Her mother was a primary teacher. He used to see his mother struggle with lesson planning. So this is Chat 3.5. He used Chat GPT to generate a lesson planning module where the learning intention and the success criteria had to be filled in by the teacher, and it would actually create a differentiated rubric-based lesson plan. It was taken up by, it has been taken up by GEMS, and he has received some funding for it towards higher education. So the issue is not about essentially whether children are using AI or not. Are we giving them the freedom to ask the questions and take risk with it? And is there space within our education system for that risk taking?
Yeah, please do.
Works like hole in the wall. In my school, we had class 12 students teaching teachers how to write prompts. They said, we'll do the workshop. You are another generation. There's so much material
That's very
online
good.
and on Instagram and on TikTok that they sat us down and did a fantastic workshop teaching us how to write prompts to teach them with. So you don't have to always kill your teachers. Sometimes you have to allow the hole in the wall also. For things like AI, that works beautifully.
Very
Trust your
nice.
students.
Thank you. Subirji, yes.
Very briefly, I think it will help.
Careful.
It will help everyone to create a strong, structured thinking skills course. Sort of seriously missing. It can easily be done. It's not that complicated. AI can make it for you. And secondly, I think it's important to train, to work with teachers to create spaces for children to express, to think. Just one activity that I want to mention very
Please.
simple is if you set up, say, 2-3 chairs and ask one child to stand blindfolded here, and ask the whole class to give this child instruction to move around without touching anything, you will find it's very difficult to do. But they learn a lot from something like this. So start early. There are many things like this that can be done.
Yeah, we'll take that as the last. Nahi, aap boliye.
Ma'am, you've seen a graphic novel on road safety. I've
Yes,
given it to you.
yes,
Right? So this graphic novel was made from 11 schools, and we gave them, they developed the scripts, they did the graphics. 6 schools didn't do the graphics very well, so it was very difficult to tell them कि change करो. So we said, ma'am, वो ना launch हो रहा है जल्दी से. Can I help you out by converting it into AI? So she said, no, Sandeepa, teacher will take some time. I said, I'll help you out. I'll get it converted, give it to you, you approve it, and then we'll publish it. I just got one student from a school whom the principal did not know that the child was so good, and he did 6 comic books in 6 days. We paid him a very good amount, 4,000 per comic. I know that the organization didn't like it. I said, no, sir, give him because he deserves it. And if I go back around 10 years, when I was in CBSE, we had the same situation. We made a beautiful trailer on promoting mathematics. The child made it. We called the child to school. 10th में था वो आया. He said, what am I going to be paid if I make more? So, it was shock for us, for the children to ask like that. I said, cup of coffee with Mr. Vinny Joshi and a letter of recommendation for your admissions after 12th. He fell for that. So then he went and, like the school created a computer club in the school, and they did that. हमने कहा 15 बनाने, 20 बनाने. 1 महीने बाद कुछ भी नहीं हुआ. So I was asking the teacher and the principal, then I asked the student. He said, आपने मेरे को बोला काम बोलने को या टीचर को बोला? टीचर ने तो ग्रुप बना दिया. टीचर को आता थोड़ी ना. And that was 10 years back. He was talking about board and all these things. He said, teacher cannot do it. If the teacher knew how to do it, where was I? Then We took a change. Mr. Joshi agreed to the proposal. We made him a student of 10th standard, conduct a workshop for 33 schools, 2 teachers, 2 students from each school, and he decided this is the prerequisite, this is what they should be bringing, this is what they should be knowing. Ye unko aata hai to bulao warna mat bulao. We made 33 promos in mathematics for that. One student of grade 10th, not even like 11th ka tha, uske paas maths bhi nahi thi. And you know, when he fired me, I used to tell him, usko aisa karo, isko thoda change kar do. He would tell me, sir, ye change karne ke liye 3 घंटा लगेगा. तो जो आपका जो दिमाग में ना, पहले मुझे बोला करो.
Great, thank you. So good examples. So let's go now to the next point. Okay, so we've been talking yesterday also, we spoke a lot about industry, academia, curriculum aligning. How many of us, and sorry, this is to Anand. So how many of us, Anand, as schools, really get industry people to come and speak to our children, or is it just one off, साल में कोई एक बार आ गया? And you know क्यों नहीं आता है? टाइम नहीं है, हमें अपने कोर्स खत्म करने हैं, ठीक है? Board exams, as Lakshmi said, and so we don't have a proper calendar. And yeah, the last thing I want to say, पैसा लेगा कोई आएगा तो पैसा लेगा, इसमें क्यों पैसा हमें खर्चा करना? We can spend money on those board advertisements, but we can't actually align ourselves with industry and thereby work on our curriculum to make our children probably ready for future skills. Do we really invest in it? Our time, effort, money.
Right. Since Geeta is not in the room, I'll take on the mobile. I'll promise that I'll speak the truth holding my mobile, which is dearest to me.
That's a good
The first point is that, you know, I have been hearing this discussion for last 2 days, and I'm wondering why a 5-letter word has been left out of the entire discussion, and I want to connect it to the question you asked. A 5-letter word called caste.
She said this to
Okay. Okay. Sorry. Okay.
No, between us
Right.
actually.
So I think talking about skill education without talking about caste is absolutely irrelevant discussion to have. Okay. So
This is being honest.
yeah. So I have taken my mobile, so I can't be anything but honest on this. So that is why I want to talk about caste. I mean, we can speak for hours on caste, and I'll be happy to speak on it if I'm allowed to. But why I brought in caste here? See, when you talk about industry, there's a deep sense of mistrust at every level. But there is mistrust from government to private sector schools. So like the private sector school has a deep mistrust. Why is CBSE doing this? And I hold you deeply responsible that today I came to know, because I am competing on health skits with blue pottery. I am trying to convince schools that children need to know how to measure blood pressure, etc., so that they can help their senior citizens and their parents. And they are saying we'll do blue pottery because it's easier. CBSE ka manual bana hua hai. And
We make the manual on that, don't worry.
no, we are making. No. So Bishwajit Saha has told us to make the manual, and he is saying give a 30-hour manual credit. So I am making it for 6, 7, 8. But I am having to compete with blue pottery. So this is a real challenge. Okay. So this is a real challenge. But
Operation with blue pottery, the reason being because that school will not invest in that skill in their blue pottery, but all that what you need for your manual, they'll have everything there in the first year.
but that's not the ground reality, at least in majority of schools. But anyway, that's aside. Deep sense of mistrust from board to private school to industry. So you're talking of deep sense of mistrust, okay? And then let's talk about the caste system. If you want to call industry, who will you call? You will call the top IT head honcho of the city. Right? So there is a deep sense of caste system in this. You will say, my parents will feel very good if I put a newsletter out that the CEO of so-and-so IT company made a visit to my this thing, right? This caste system operates in so many ways. For example, I'll give you a small example. In my programs that I run in health education, I use only Ayurvedic medical graduates. Now, this is a caste system operating. There is such a beautiful supply of good, well-trained Ayurvedic medical graduates, ladies who are looking for employment and not finding the right employment because the skill set is not matching. Ayurvedic graduates can only work after 6 p.m. when the working class is back from working in the factories. They go for 15 rupee OPD checkups with Ayurvedic graduates. Women don't fit into that. They work with me at a pittance. And that's how I am able to do health education in schools. So this caste system that is operating will seriously impact any industry interface, because what is your industry interface, right? If you say the SME sector from, somebody who is manufacturing ball valves for some particular industrial process is going to come and talk to my children, I mean, it's not going to get off. So to overcome this, and I'm sorry if you have thought that people really charge money, etc. I mean, really, there are people who are dying to be part of school education, okay? Because most of us who have finished school education, finished college education, are working professionals, we really know what we missed. See, we may not be in a position to do formal education, come back and teach, but if we are allowed to integrate, there is enough opportunity that is there, provided we remove these caste hierarchies. So that will be
are we trying to say that, if I understand well, why do we always want to call the top? What Subirji said, would you like to go to the carpenter's shop, carpenter's workshop, rather than making him wear a tie and come? Because that's not the milieu in which he works. But if you do that, maybe for a carpenter to koi kabhi chala bhi gaya, there may be others. I don't want to give any names, because again, there should not be a stigma attached to anything. Parents will say, "Uski aap kyun leke gaye mere bacche ko?" Ye to, then we say, respect nahi hai, stigma hai. तो कहाँ से ये शुरू हो रहा है, So I completely agree with what you're saying. Would anybody like to add anything to this about what do you do to get the right people into your schools to see to it that there is no stigma and it adds to your curriculum, the real marriage between industry and academia? So we'll go with Lakshmi and then we'll come with... Achha, Azhar, you want to add? Please. I'll come to you.
So what I have done is we have partnered with IIT Guwahati and IIT Mumbai. Three companies we have partnered with. One already have done it. They did the internship there from grade 5 onwards. That is one thing. And also children have got the certificate as well for 15 days internship. That is one thing. And number 2 is we have partnered with Skill Tank in organization, which is developed on pitching their idea and getting that. So again, that is also done through grade 5. And also one of the companies which is Clever Harvey, and which gives a tie up with Nestle, Capgemini, whatever companies. They come up with a 15 days program. They give the internship and everything. That's the industry we bring it up. Clever Harvey. Yeah. That is there. That is there.
Not caste, a solution. Yeah. We're still talking about caste.
Yeah.
I have one word,
Alumni. Okay, good. So we'll just take these two words, which will be good, in respect of time.
So that's
Sachin, you want to say? Great. So can we have you say 1 or 2 words?
Yeah. I'm saying, why don't we explore a parent community? I'm sure there must be super talented parents in the school. Why can't we invite them?
Good solution. Joyita, 1 or 2 words that you'd like to add to this? Surely you wanted to say something. Alumni. Okay.
In this, I'll just add here that I'm fortunate enough that I have my own industry.
Okay.
So which is like recycled paper and recycled paper products.
Right.
So I call the workers, like the main craft people, to the school, and there's no caste attached to it, and I sell it in that manner to the parents and to the kids, that it's a workshop and they are making it, they're learning. So this is in line with that.
I'm so glad we spoke about this, but there's one thing, I don't know, it's a personal thing. Every time we speak about industry, academia, link, because of this term that we use, industry, somewhere, I think again, we feel industry means there. We don't understand that it means everywhere. So let's change this term somewhere, Subhiji. I'm just throwing a thought.
That is where we had the inauguration done by the labor. Yes. All the 7 crafts, the labor did the inauguration, not the bosses.
And NEP talking about these things only because stigmatization to a large extent. So then where is it coming? Absolutely.
Because we all stand there, drink the chai and eat that kachi dabeli, but we never see the person behind it.
Right.
But I think a conversation in terms of an entire entrepreneurship model I mean, they're also industry.
Absolutely.
Also have a lot of
Absolutely.
processes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then we talking about entrepreneurship, तो वो पकौड़े वाला भी तो entrepreneur ही है ना, वो तो एक दो बच्चों को job दे देता है. So that's what we need in the country. Last point.
We used to call the local policeman, local panchayat, local farmer. Farmer used to help in the kitchen garden.
Right.
No, local who are PhD doctor, whoever is the artisans who are available in the village is called in.
Right. Okay, good. So we'll go to now the last. Okay, Anirudh ji. So yesterday we had the promoters there, and you know we were talking about the funding and things. So I have a few promoters here. Sachin is also here, and we have you too. So again, coming back to the money, at the end of the day, I probably want to call someone or set up a lab. Let's people, चलो कोई free आ भी गया, एक lab set up करने में बहुत पैसा लगता है, and then resources. Are you as a promoter, or as we, as not promoters but school leaders, managing to convince the promoter of the school that this is where for the future of the country the funding should go? Because if we are opening a school to build the nation, and if that is the service, then probably this is required the most, because we were speaking with Subirji about becoming the skill capital of tomorrow. तो school में नहीं शुरू करेंगे तो कहाँ से होगा?
I think you have touched my chord. I'm not a cash-rich school, like we from a tier 3 city, but again on Geeta, Shapat. But I as a promoter, I spent a lot of money in the labs. Even if the city doesn't need, even if the parent doesn't need, even if the newsletter doesn't need, but the investment in creating labs and creating, all kind of labs, not only the robotics lab or not only the science labs, even the beauty of the lab should be in such a manner that, kids should feel interested to get into the lab. Because you buy the equipments, that's okay. But if you create that environment, how school is giving a weightage to the lab, that's an important. So hugely invested amount of money. I don't think that whether the returns have come in terms of admissions or not. Maybe that will be the byproduct of that work which will happen over the period of time. But yes, it has created a momentum that, initially when we used to force the teachers or the kids to go to the lab, now I can see that it is like, overcrowded always. So we have done that. And on the practical side, because that answers your question, and on the other side, I am telling you that, as a school, in general, yes, we don't do much with the industry connect. Like we do off and on, like, once a visit or twice a visit. That happens, or that the objective is for the newsletter only, right? That's the truth. Okay. And unfortunate, yes. But, from the last 24 hours, like, I'm getting a feel that I'm not getting a sleep proper also, that, that so much is required.
True.
That, as Madam also said, that now we need to combine together, to integrate together, to make a pool of ideas and to make a pool of, so much of resources to each other that we can do. Because in our normal day-to-day routine, it is not possible to think. As Sir said, like teachers training, we invest a lot. But as again Sir said, that outcome of those trainings are not there. In addition to that, every year I think that, what should be the objective of the training? Like subject training or a team building training or a motivational training. Because year by year I could only see that, okay, this training has lasted the impact for 2 months. I'm just writing my notes after training. This training could not do anything. So still I have not been able to conclude, how much, like how to create a basket of training so that at least it could last for 3-4 months.
I'll just add one thing, because Sandeep ji mentioned about the training that I don't, it's not a pitch.
एक चीज और बोल देता हूँ फिर आप ऐड करना मैम.
हाँ प्लीज.
कि वोकेशनल तो एक it's like बिल्कुल ही छोटा हुआ सब्जेक्ट है. हम तो अभी एकेडमिक्स, हाउ टू टीच, हाउ टू क्रिएट टीचिंग एड्स, टीचिंग मेथोडोलॉजी, इन सब की कर रहे हैं. वोकेशनल की तरफ तो कोई ट्रेनिंग का है ही नहीं. बिल्कुल भी फोकस.
And I think training is something, I completely agree with you, उसका बड़ा short term impact रहता है, फिर it dies down.
Yes.
But the only thing I would like to suggest, I'm sorry,
please,
I'm not
please.
in a position to suggest, but still,
Please.
that लगे रहिए.
ये
एक ऐसी, your teachers are the biggest asset you have. आप बस लगे रहिए is all that I want to tell you,
Right.
because there will be an impact. And I think mindset training of the teachers is something we less invest in. Maths की training कर लो, इसकी उसकी. Mindset change होगा ना,
Mindset, yes.
everything will change. वो maths भी अच्छा पढ़ाने
And it
लगेगा.
happens also, like, if you're training like say 50 teachers, you can see a good impact on 10 ones.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So this is the result.
So we are already late, but I'm going to take 2 points from the audience because I think I have the most brilliant audience in front of me. Yes, dear.
It's when the school leadership also joins the bandwagon. For example, in our skill up classes, my vice principal teaches crochet making. When she does it, then other people who are like, I just teach maths will say, I can do bookbinding. Somebody said, I know how to teach cookery. We managed to tap our own teachers because the school leaders, including principal, on the skill up days, does it with the children. It's not like I am taking a round and now you show me cooking. Unless you have leadership invested in these things, you are not going to model it for anyone else.
Very good. That's, I think, probably one of the best points. Everybody has to be committed. Anyone, any exciting point from anywhere?
Regarding funds, I can.
Okay. Yes, Kanan?
With teachers, psychiatrists, and what I've found is the same thing. And one thing that I've found that really works is whatever training you do, if it's a mindset training or something, create a 21-day follow-up contract model, make the teachers accountable to each other, and keep an accountability structure and see that they practice it for 21 days. After that, give a 2-month break and again do it for 21 days. And the best teachers who do it really well, applaud them, honor them on a Parents' Day, give them an incentive hike based on their impact over here, and then you will see the buy-in. Something that
Thank you. I'm coming to you, sir. Yes, you want to raise.
Actually, I raised my hand. It's not related to something, but if you allow me only.
Please,
just 1
please.
minute. In my school, yesterday I was in AI session. Today I am into this vocation. I know these are the 2 important points we are looking for in the schools. But I just want to share from our school. There are a lot of struggles, challenges, everything. But what we have been doing for years is building up compassion, because I am into pranic healing also, and our entire team feels if I have that happiness and my entire team has that happiness, I think we will work as a team, we'll collaborate, we'll empathize, and we will be giving weightage to the academics and everything. So I think it is the first thing which we need to actually inculcate in ourselves is come out of that stress of the schedule and just work upon the heart first.
And
so
I think
body,
that the
mind
caste
and heart.
system will also go if
And
we
body,
have compassion.
Right, body, mind and heart need to work together in every area of education.
Good point.
A short point regarding the fund for developing that lab in the school, the incubation center. This is not for the owners because they must have exploited the bankers already, but this is for the principal, the employed principals. Get hold of your banker, he has funds. I know it because I've used it in various schools and they have fund every year. But owners will have used some facility with them, so they will not give it to you. But if you're employed principal, you'll get it. Secondly, regarding why do you think that the teachers, when they go for training, they come back, why don't they change? Because for 20 years, they have been trained to do something else.
Exactly.
You send them for 2 workshops and expect them to change? 20 years from KG till their post-graduation, they've been doing something else. So now when you want to do something else,
Lage raho, yeah, lage raho. It takes some time. Yeah, absolutely. Lakshmi ma'am says, yeah, please. Actually, it's not working, so let's use this. We'll take.
Yeah, I think, to have that time, because, what has been there, like he said, for such a long time, just because NCF and accreditation and the framework and everybody is in a hurry and everything is just now dumped, things are not going to change overnight. I think to have that time for evolution also is required. I mean, it's this, yeah.
Last point from you, Subir.
Okay, very briefly. No teacher lives to fulfill your dreams. They live to fulfill their own dreams. So,
You have to write this.
so if you have,
hardest reminder.
so if you want to work with teachers, can you help them dream differently? Then maybe things will happen. Don't do dream transfer. It doesn't work. Do dream generation.
Very good point. And so thank you so much. Courageous and outspoken and truthful speakers. At least we said we don't do, we are trying. And I think that was the whole idea of this Adda. Thank you so much, everybody. And brilliant. Put your hands up. Everyone, put it at the back and pat yourselves at the back. You've been really good.
Ah, yes, yes. I was saying.